So the Lakers are just 12-12 through 24 games this season. So last season, they were 18-6 in that same span. And in the previous season, they started at 21-3. And that's when they went on to win a title. And yeah, you can chalk some of their struggles up to LeBron James missing half of those 24 games thus far. The Lakers are just 5-7 without LeBron in the lineup and are averaging 7 fewer points per game when he doesn't play. He's yet to play in 4 straight games at any point thus far in the season. So this is their worst start in 3 years under head coach Frank Vogel, but the Lakers have won over 63% of their games under Vogel and have the 4th best record in the NBA in that span. So is he really on the hot seat? Here's what LeBron had to say yesterday when he was asked about Vogel.
And criticism comes with the job. Frank is a strong-minded guy. He has a great coaching staff. And we as his players have to do a better job of going out and producing on the floor. We're a team and an organization that, that don't mind some adversity, that don't mind people, saying things about us, obviously, because it comes with the territory. And Frank doesn't care, and we don't either, about what people are saying.
Frank doesn't care, and we don't either. All right. Well, let's dive a little bit deeper on this. We have Richard Jefferson, Kendrick, Perkins, Zach Lowe. I want to start with you, Zach. A lot of heat is coming for the Lakers, and it's coming down to Frank Vogel. Is that fair to criticize him for the Lakers' struggles?
Look, no coach is above scrutiny, not even Greg Popovich. I do think Frank Vogel has probably been too loyal to the Russ, LeBron, AD, DeAndre Jordan. That quartet, the offense thinks it's not going to work. But let's step back for a second. LeBron has missed half the games. Half. The best player ever, arguably, has missed half the games. Trevor Ariza hasn't played. Kendrick Nunn hasn't played. The Lakers have no lineup that has played more than 51 minutes this season. Every other team has at least one lineup, and sometimes 2, 3, or 4 that have played more than that. That shows you how unstable the availability has been. And more than that, they traded an entire basketball team of two-way players for Russell Westbrook and let another good two-way player, Alex Caruso, go in free agency. We all knew Russell Westbrook fitting in with LeBron and AD was going to take some time, given that he's a bad shooter who needs the ball a lot. This is just going to need some time. If you want to call me back after 50 games and ask me about the job Frank Vogel has done, that's fine. This guy helped them win a championship 2 years ago, and in terms of divvying out blame for their 12-12 start and how blah they've looked, I think he's pretty low on the totem pole of reasons right now, below health and difficulty of fitting in Russ. We all knew that was going to take time. It's a complicated puzzle. They still have time.
Do they have time, Perk?
You know the problem that I have is that everybody always want to talk about offense. Everybody want to talk about, how is Russ and Braun going to look? Who's going to be the primary ball handler? Who's going to initiate the offense? Where's AD going to fit in? But nobody's talking about the Lakers and their defense. Right now, they can't stop a nosebleed. People are looking at the Lakers and saying, you know what? I could get my career high on them. I could go out there and get whatever I want, and that comes from effort. You can't tell me you have an athletic guy like Russell Westbrook who gambles, who don't fight to get over screens. You can't tell me you have a guy in Anthony Davis who have shown us time and time again that he could be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation every single year that's not anchoring your defense. Frank Vogel is not to blame when the Lakers make a basket and they give up a transition basket on the other end. That's effort. And we got to start looking at their defense. And they have veterans on the floor. They have veterans on the floor that should be able to communicate and get through things and get stops when need be, when their offense is not going and they're not making shots. And I'm going to say this. Look at all the top teams in the NBA. Look at the Bucks. Look at the Nets. Look at Golden State. Look at the Suns. Look at Chicago. All of those teams are in the top 10 defensive categories. Yes, they have offense, but they defend at a high level.
Well, and usually Frank Vogel teams, that's what they hang their hat on. They're 16th in the league in defense this year, Richard. I'm also looking at, you guys mentioned, both of you mentioned fit. LeBron, fewest rebounds since he was a rookie, fewest assists since 2016, lowest field goal percentage since 2005. You kind of can keep going, but is that a LeBron issue? Is that a fit issue? Is that a Frank issue, Richard?
Oh, God, it's not a Frank issue. It's a you've missed half the season issue. That's all it is. Guys get better. They get into a rhythm. Their body starts getting stronger as the season progresses. If you're constantly having to go in and out and you're dealing with this, whether it's a suspension, a false COVID test, these are all part of just kind of the bumps and grinds of the season. At the end of the day, when you're talking about Frank Vogel, he is a very good coach. He is a championship coach. He has done this for damn near 20 years. It's not his issue, especially if you were looking at, well, they've been healthy, they've been this. This is not a Frank Vogel issue. And my thing about this is, they don't have enough of the little guys, the guys that do the little things. Those were the things that Kyle Kuzma was getting better at every year, that we knew KCP, he was out there to defend. We see the impact that Alex Caruso is having. So you get rid of a bunch of guys that were living in the NBA doing the little things, and you replace them with superstars. And that's when Perk starts talking about getting over screens. Because you know what? Alex Caruso doesn't play if he doesn't get over screens. Westbrook will. Carmelo might. These guys will. And so your defense is not as strong as it once was because you don't have guys on the court that over the course of their career have lived their lives playing through the defensive end. So it's just going to be tough.
I see your finger up there, Perk. What's going on?
I just got a question to ask, and I just want to, like, when you look at the Brooklyn Nets team, right, they rank number 3 overall in defensive efficiency. When you look at their roster is not that much more better than the Lakers roster defensively, right? When you look at, Patty Mills and James Harden. So if they could have a commitment and buy into playing defense, I don't understand why the Lakers can't. Well, I just don't get it.
It's interesting you say that because I was wondering when I was watching Zach shaking his head, and maybe this is unfair of me, but so much of what we're talking about, the issues with injuries, having just time on the floor, star players being out, these role players having to do this, that, and the other, are the Lakers this year the Nets last year, Zach?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, I think they'd like to be the Nets last year. The Nets might have won the championship
this
last
much
year.
Away, the toe away.
Had they'd all been healthy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.